Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming OCS exams happening in February 2025. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. So first things first, I'm going to take you through the technicalities behind your OCS exam. Some of you might be repeaters or some of you might be attempting OCS for the first time. If that is the case, this is your first CIMA case study, so you need to gain a good understanding of the nitty-gritties, the technicalities behind your exam and what the examiner expects from you and how you are supposed to provide answers and how your knowledge is tested. All these things will be covered in the first part of today's session. And in the second part, I will be directing your attention towards an 8-week study plan. And if you stick to this study plan, you can cover all syllabus elements without any issues, and you can walk into the exam by preparing fully. And on top of that, you can conduct your studies in a stress-free environment. All right, so before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you of the upcoming webinars and workshops which we have scheduled for you. So from this week until your examination, there are 8 weeks in total. And in each week, we are conducting a webinar or workshop, and each of these webinars and workshops are conducted free of charge. So make use of this opportunity, because via these webinars and workshops, whilst sharing technical knowledge with you, I will also take you through certain mock exam questions and answers so that you gain a good understanding of how to approach each type of OCS related question. And on top of that, in each of these sessions, I will be opening up for Q&A. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can always get in touch with me on a weekly basis. And attending these webinars and workshops each week is the best way to keep tabs about your preparations, to see whether you are headed in the correct direction. And if you're facing any hiccups, then you can find solutions to each of these issues by getting in touch with me via these weekly webinars and workshops. So in today's webinar, I'm going to highlight the study technique, or in other words, I will be sharing a study plan with you. In the next webinar, which is happening next Saturday, I will be conducting a pre-scene analysis. So I will be talking about what you need to get right when it comes to applying pre-scene information when developing your answers. And at the same time, I will conduct an industry analysis and then move on to a pre-scene analysis. And the most important webinar, which is the third one, which is happening on the 28th of December, I'm sharing an answering technique with you. And, after teaching you an answering technique, I will also highlight a time management technique. And after learning these two techniques, you are supposed to keep replicating the same methodology over and over when practicing each of the mock exams, because without practicing the answering and time management technique, you won't get it right at your real exam. So in order to be successful, you have to gain a good understanding of how to develop your answers and how to manage your time. So all these elements will be taught to you in the third webinar. And after teaching you these techniques, I will also take you through one of the mock exam questions and explain how to implement these techniques in a successful manner. And when practicing your mock exams, you are supposed to reiterate or replicate the same methodology over and over in order to champion these techniques. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will be sharing some tips which will ensure that you improve your level of confidence, because as per the CIMA examiner, if you're confident about your skill set, then you will pass the exam for sure. So with the intention of improving your confidence levels, improving your positivity, I will be sharing some tips with you. And on top of that, I will also mention what you need to do to overcome stressful situations, because when attempting mock exams under exam conditions, it's not easy. The exam spans for 3 hours at a stretch, so it's not easy to sit in one place and do the same thing 3 hours at a stretch. And when trying to do so, you'd be exposed to extreme levels of stress. So I will also share some tips pertinent to what you need to do to overcome these stressful situations when attempting each of your mock exams. And if you master this technique when attempting mock exams, you will get everything right at your real examination. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will also talk about common pitfalls which you need to avoid. And if you take steps to avoid these pitfalls, again, you can make sure that you pass your OCS exam. And in the workshops, I will be taking you through questions and answers pertaining to each syllabus element, P1, F1, and E1. So I will be taking you through the mock exams which we have developed, focusing your attention towards different types of questions focused on each syllabus element. And at each of these workshops, towards the latter part, I will be opening up for Q&A. So if you have any questions, by the time you are attending these workshops, you should be done with 1 or 2 mock exams. So after doing each mock exam, definitely you will have questions. So I'm always there to help you guys out at these workshops. And the final workshop, which happens 2 or 3 days before your exam, I will be sharing last minute tips with you to make sure that you walk into the exam with a positive mindset. Because as I mentioned earlier, if you believe in your skill set, if you're confident about your skills and capabilities, then you will be extremely successful at your real examination. So I hope you'd join the upcoming webinars and workshops on a weekly basis in order to gain utmost levels of benefits by understanding technicalities behind your exam and at the same time improving your skill set in the upcoming 8 weeks. All right, so let's get into the technicalities behind your exam. So 2 different types of students land at the OCS level. There are a set of students who are coming through the CIMA general route. So these are the set of students who had completed their E1, F1, and P1 OTQ examinations. So since you have already completed your OTQs, these type of students are extremely conversant with the theoretical elements. So these students who are coming through the general route finds OCS to be quite easy. Why? Because they have already learned theoretical elements. So the OCS exam is theory heavy. I will explain as to why that is the case compared to the SCS exam, which is your last case study examination. The OCS exam is theory heavy. So if you had learned your theory, then the OCS exam is going to be a walk in the park. You simply need to improve your application skills. And there are another set of students coming through the exemption route, which is known as the FLP or Finance Leadership Program. So if you are coming through the FLP route, you will have to focus your attention towards learning theoretical elements, and at the same time, you'd have to improve your application skills. All right, so don't get discouraged. If you're coming through an exemption route, don't think that, okay, I have not completed my OTQ, so because of that, I won't have enough time to prepare myself. Don't think in those terms, because we have developed a study system which is specifically focused on those who are coming through the exemption routes as well. So if you're coming through an exemption route, you need to learn your theoretical elements, and at the same time, you have to improve your application skills. But there's absolutely nothing for you to worry. You can cover all these elements within the 8 weeks if you stick to our study plan and use our study material. So these are the 2 different types of students coming coming to the OCS examination. So looking at the examination, this is a PC-based exam. You can attempt the exam at an examination center, or you can attempt the exam at home as well. If you're attempting the exam at home, please make sure that your internet is stable, because if you're experiencing power cuts or if there are signal drops, then I won't recommend you to attempt the exam at home. Instead, go to an examination center and attempt your exam without any hiccups. And the time allocation, the total time allocation is 3 hours, and your exam or your paper is divided into 4 main tasks, and each task carries a time allocation of 45 minutes each. So 45 minutes into 4 comes up to 3 hours in total. So how are you supposed to approach these 3 hours? What you need to understand is, let's assume you are in section number 1. You are attempting section number 1. The time allocation is 45 minutes. Once the first 45 minutes run out, you will be directed to task number 2 or section number 2. So once you are in section number 2, you cannot go back to section number 1. So when coming up with time management plans, You should not focus your attention towards 3 hours at a stretch or try to determine how to manage a time which spans across 3 hours. Instead, you need to look at 4 blocks of or 4 fractions of 45 minutes each. So all these things I will explain in depth in the third webinar when I'm teaching you answering and time management techniques. So for now, what you need to understand is the fact that your exam is divided into 4 main sections, and each section carries 45 a time allocation of 45 minutes. And the pass mark is 80 out of 150, or as a percentage, it's 54%. So in order to pass, you need to get 80 or more at your real examination. So this is quite easy to achieve. As you can see, even if you end up losing a chunk of your marks, you still can pass this examination. So it's all about attempting mock exams, testing your knowledge, conducting your revision focused on the mock exams. If you do so, you will comfortably pass this examination. So this is the exam, and let's try to understand what your role is, what type of a role you are supposed to play at this examination. So at the OCS exam, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. So it's as if you are working within a company. And what is your job role or what is your job description? You are supposed to play the role of a finance officer. So let's try to understand where a finance officer is located within a typical organization. So if you look at a typical organizational structure or a hierarchy, you'd see that there are 3 main levels: the operational level, management level, and the strategic level. So at the strategic level, you will find the decision makers of any given organization, or in other terms, you'd find the board of directors or the board members. So these individuals who are at the very top of the organization, they are involved with the long run as well as decision making of the organization. So they need to adopt something called an outside-in approach when it comes to making decisions. So what is an outside-in approach? This is a scenario where you are expected to, if you are a board member, you are expected to think about how the external environment, especially external stakeholders, are going to react to your decisions. So whenever you are coming up with a decision, you need to think about, okay, how will the competitors react to this? How will our customers react to this? How will our shareholders react to it? How will our third party, if we have any linkages with our suppliers or whatnot, how will our third party agents, suppliers, and all these type of different types of stakeholders will react to it. So first things first, when taking a decision, you need to think about how your external environment is going to react to your decisions. Then you need to think about your own internal dynamics and decide as to how your decisions will impact your employees, your managers, as well as the overall internal dynamics of your company. So that's the responsibility of the individuals at the strategic level. And at the very lowest level of the organization, which is known as the operational level, you find individuals who are involved with implementing the decisions which are taken by the individuals who are at the board level or at the strategic level. So you are located at the operational level of the organization. So as a finance officer who is located at the lowest level of the organization, you are involved with implementing the decisions which are taken by the board. So in an overall sense, you are involved with the daily running of the business. The board might come up with a decision which is to increase the market share by 10% within 5 years. So the board will, with this objective in mind, the board will come up with different types of strategies, different types of plans, and on a daily basis, you are supposed to implement these plans. So that's what your role is. And your finance manager, who is at the management level, will keep tabs about what you are up to, whether you are doing your job properly or not. So you are directly reporting, as a finance officer, you are directly reporting to your finance manager, who is at the middle, in between the strategic and the operational level. So the management level is there to keep tabs about whether the operational level individuals at the operational level are doing their jobs properly. And at the same time, they are also keeping the board members informed about whether the plans are being implemented in a successful manner or not. So you are at the lowest level of the organization, thereby playing the role of a finance officer, and you are reporting to the finance manager who is at the management level. So as a finance officer, you are expected to have a moderate level of application and practical thinking. So theories will be heavily tested at your examination. 85% of the questions which are thrown at you will be based on theoretical concepts. That's exactly why I said that you have to be conversant with your E1, F1, and P1 syllabi. And if you're coming through the CIMA general route, then you need not worry about syllabus elements because you have already championed them. If not, you won't be able to complete your OTQ examinations. However, if you're coming through an exemption route, you need to spend some time to gain a good knowledge about or learn theoretical concepts. If not, you will not pass this examination. So theories are heavily tested. And on top of that, practical decision making is tested as well, but it's extremely limited. The only type of decision making which you'd be involved with is with regards to suggesting key performance indicators or suggesting KPIs. Other than that, you are not expected to come up with your own decisions. Why is that the case? Because of the fact that you are at the lowest level of the organization. As an individual who is at the operational level, as I mentioned earlier, you are supposed to implement the decisions taken by the board members. Instead, you are not expected to come up with your own decisions. So your theoretical knowledge is heavily tested and your practical decision-making skills will not be tested that much. Only when it comes to suggesting KPIs, justifying and recommending KPIs, your decision-making skills will be tested. Other than that, it's all about explaining or evaluating or assisting decision makers when developing your answers. So that's what your role is. Then let's look at the overview of the exam. So the CIMA examiner shares information about a fictitious company in advance via something called a pre-scene document. I'm pretty sure that you would have gone through the pre-scene, which is relevant for this time, which is based on a company which is known as Back Office backpack manufacturer. So via this pre-scene, the examiner gives you information about the industry and as well as what happens within your company, thereby highlighting the internal dynamics, what happens within various different departments. And on top of that, the examiner also mentions how the organization is structured. And then the examiner moves on to talk about what the company intends to achieve in the future. And at the very end of your pre-scene document, you'd find the financial statements of your company, the statement of profit and loss, the statement of cash flows, and the statement of financial position, or in other terms, the balance sheet. So as a finance officer, you need to have a good understanding of your internal dynamics of your company, its financial situation, as well as you need to have a general idea of what type of an industry we operate in at the moment. So information about your chosen company, which is Back Office, is which is a fictitious company, is shared with you via a pre-scene in advance. And in the exam, you are required to address issues or questions relating to the operations of the company. Why operations? Because you are at the operational level of the organization. So be prepared to handle situations concerning the day-to-day running of your company. And when developing your answers, you need to show to the examiner that you have an appropriate level of knowledge about the company, as well as you have learned something via your E1, P1, and F1 syllabi. So when developing your answers, you need to make sure that you tell you or you show the examiner that you have learned your E1, F1, and P1. And at the same time, when developing answers, you need to make sure that your answers are always aligned with the internal dynamics of your company, or in other words, your answers are always aligned with what appears within your pre-scene document. So let me quickly take you to one of the mock exam questions which we have developed in order to further explain what I highlighted right now. So I'm taking you through one or two questions which appear within mock exam 1. As I mentioned earlier, your paper is divided into 4 main parts, and the time allocation for each part is 45 minutes. In each task or section, you will see 2 or 3 subtasks. So in this paper, there are 4 tasks in total, and each task carries 3 subtasks each. Okay, so let's look at the first question. Explain how each variance was calculated, highlighting why these variances occurred and what they tell us about market conditions. So the first subtask itself tests your understanding about variance analysis, which appears within your P1 syllabus. So variances, you are not expected to calculate variances at this exam, because as a finance officer, all the information will be shared with you. Considering the information which appears within each and every section, each and every scenario, you are supposed to develop your answer. So you are not expected to do calculations. Instead, the variances will be provided at the exam. Considering this information, you are supposed to develop your answers. Okay, so if you are clueless about sales variances, then you won't get any marks for this type of a question. Let's look at the second subtask. Highlight the benefits of separating the variances into planning and operational variances, especially considering the changes in product prices and the issues with foam padding purchases. So again, if you are not conversant with what planning and operational variances are, which appears within your P1 syllabus, then you won't get any marks for this question. And on top of that, this question is totally aligned with what appears within this scenario, and on top of that, what appears within your pre-seen document. So just knowing your theories won't help. You need to have a good understanding of what appears within your pre-seen as well. So then let's go on to section number 2. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of using a rolling budget as opposed to the current budgeting system. So in this question, you are supposed to compare and contrast between the current budgeting system adopted by back office and rolling budgeting. So if you are clueless about the current budgeting system adopted by the company, as per your pre-seen, we rely on a traditional incremental budgeting system. So if you are not too conversant with the current budgeting system, just because you write everything about rolling budgets, you won't get full marks. So I just wanted to share some examples with you to justify what I just shared with you. So when developing your answers, you need to show to the examiner that you are extremely conversant with what happens within your company. And on top of that, you need to show to the examiner that you know your E1, P1, and F1. So that's exactly why you need to be extremely conversant with what appears within your E1, P1, and F1 syllabi. All right, so this is an overview of the exam. And let's try to understand what you need to achieve in the upcoming 8 weeks. So this is the to-do list. First things first, you need to read something called the annotated pre-seen. So you would have received the pre-seen by now, because the same pre-seen which was used in May is used for the sessions happening in February 2000. The same pre-seen which was used in November 2024 is used for sessions happening in February 2025 as well. So you would have already received the pre-seen. So we have developed something called an annotated pre-seen. So this is an annotated pre-seen which we have prepared for a previous case study. As you can see, this is the same pre-seen. Additionally, we have come up with annotations, and via these annotations, we have effectively summarized the entire pre-seen, which makes your life easy when it comes to remembering what appears within your pre-seen document. And on top of that, considering the information presented, we have also highlighted the probable exam scenarios which can be tested at the exam. And focused on these exam scenarios, we have also highlighted probable syllabus elements which can be tested at your real exam. So when developing our mock exams, we have made sure to cover all these syllabus elements and all these probable exam scenarios to make sure that you are 100% ready to face any type of question or issue which is thrown at you at your real examination. So throughout this pre-seen document, that's exactly what you can see. Rather than going through paragraphs and paragraphs of information and trying to understand or trying to remember all the necessary information, we have made your life easy by coming up with a good summary. Once you go through this summary, you'd gain a good understanding of what appears within the entire pre-scene, and it makes your life easy when it comes to memorizing what appears within the pre-scene document. And you'd also gain an understanding about probable exam scenarios which can be tested, as well as aligned with these exam scenarios, the probable areas which can be tested at your real exam. So first things first, your job is to read the annotated pre-scene to gain an in-depth insight about what appears within your pre-scene document. After you have done it on your own, you are supposed to watch the 4 pre-scene analysis videos which we have developed for you. So in the first part, as I mentioned earlier, your pre-scene is divided into 4 main elements. And when developing our pre-scene analysis sessions, we have stuck to the same methodology. So in the first pre-scene analysis video, it will give you an introduction into what appears, what your company is, its history and whatnot. Then in the second part, you gain an understanding of what happens within each and every department of your chosen company. In the third part, we have explained the budgets as well as the future plans of your organization. And in the fourth and final pre-scene analysis video, we have conducted a financial analysis based on the financial analysis slides which we have prepared. So as I told you earlier, towards the end of your pre-scene document, you'd see the financial statements of your company. So we have evaluated each financial statement in depth. There's a statement of profit and loss, statement of financial position, and a statement of cash flows. So what we have done is we have evaluated each financial statement and we have come up with annotations, and we have made sure to keep these annotations simple so that you can easily understand what appears within each financial statement. So that's exactly what you can see throughout this document. And we have also conducted a ratio analysis as well. Again, we have evaluated each ratio in depth, yet keeping things simple so that you can easily understand about the financial nitty-gritties concerning your company. And based on these set of slides, we have developed the 4th pre-scene analysis video, thereby conducting a financial analysis. So once you have gone through the annotated pre-scene on your own, and when you have watched the 4 pre-scene analysis videos, you will gain an in-depth understanding of what appears within your pre-scene. You need not try and decrypt pre-scene information. You need not conduct your own research. We have done it for you. And once you are conversant with the pre-scene, then you have to start practicing the mock exams. So we have developed 6 exam standard mock exams. Why 6 mock exams? Because if you look at past exam variants or past papers, the CIMA examiner comes up with 6 different variants. So if you are to cover the entire syllabus, since especially given the fact that the OCS exam is theory heavy, you need to be conversant with all syllabus elements. So it takes 6 mock exams to cover all syllabus elements. You cannot cover the entire syllabus by attempting just 2 or 3 mock exams. I've dealt with students who end up failing, trying to complete preparations by just attempting 2 or 3 mock exams. You cannot cover the entire syllabus simply by attempting 2 or 3 mocks. If you want to cover the entire syllabus, if you want to cover all E1, F1 and P1 syllabi elements, then you need to definitely attempt 6 mock exams. And each of these mock exams are exam standard and pre-scene specific. And when developing the questions, we have made sure to consider the information presented in the scenario. So each of your mock exams, the 6 mock exams, are totally relevant to your pre-scene and totally relevant to your examination. And on top of that, you are supposed to attend the live webinars and workshops. So as per our study plan, you are supposed to attempt a mock exam per week. I will explain these things in depth in a little while. So after attempting the weekly mock exam, you are supposed to conduct revision focused on the same mock exam. After conducting your revision, if you have any questions or concerns, you can get them answered at the weekly webinar or workshop which we are conducting. All right. Then you are supposed to refer to a set of slides such as the industry analysis, financial analysis, top 10 issues, and theory recaps pertinent to E1, F1, and P1. So let me quickly show you what type of information appears within the industry analysis slides. So as you can see, our industry analysis slides are divided into 4 main elements. In the first part, we provide an overview into your industry, thereby defining what your industry is. Then in the second and third parts, we explain the competitive landscape as well as industry trends. And it's important that you gain an understanding of these elements, this type of information, because based on the competitive landscape and its changes or the industry trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. And at the very end, we have explained what happens within 2 real-life companies concerning 2 companies, so that you understand what typical companies in the real world go through as they are trying to operate within the chosen industry. So as you can see, most students try to do their own research and conduct an industry analysis on their own. You are not supposed to do it. You are not supposed to waste time on it, because we have already done it for you. So you are supposed to go through this set of slides to gain a good understanding of the industry, about the financial performance. The top 10 likely issues slides will indicate the most probable syllabus elements or scenarios which can be tested at your exam. And after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you need to brush up your theoretical knowledge, simply refer to the theory recaps which we have developed for E1, F1, and P1 syllabi. Then you are supposed to watch 20 pre-recorded masterclasses. And these masterclasses are actually answer explanation videos concerning mocks 2 to 6, because concerning mock number 1, via the weekly webinars and workshops, whenever I'm discussing a question, I will be directing your attention towards mock number 1, which is considered as the free mock exam. And from mock 2 until mock number 6, we have developed 20 masterclasses. So in each paper or in each mock exam, there are 4 tasks. So 4 tasks into 5 mocks come up to 20 tasks in total. So focused on each task, we have developed masterclasses. And via these masterclasses, we are explaining the logic behind each answer. Whilst explaining the logic, we are also teaching you the relevant theoretical element which is tested in each task of each mock exam. And at the same time, we are also teaching you how to improve your application skills. So if you are coming through an exemption route, it's of utmost importance that you learn your theory and improve your application skills. If that is the case, you need to get your hands on the 20 masterclasses, because once you have watched the masterclasses, you will learn how to apply theory. You will learn the theoretical concepts. And on top of that, you'd also learn how to bring in relevant pre-seen information when developing your answers, with the intention of improving the quality of your answers. And on top of that, you are supposed to refer to answer plans of all mock exams. So this is what an answer plan typically looks like. So the first question, as I mentioned earlier, was about sales variances. Explain how each variance was calculated, highlighting why these variances occurred and what they tell us about market conditions. And the information presented is pertinent to sales price, sales mix, and sales quantity profit variances. So when developing your answers, before you type out your fully fledged answer, you are supposed to spend some time to develop something called an answer plan. You will gain a good understanding about these things in the third webinar, answering technique. So when developing an answer plan, it's about structuring your answer. So this is a good summary which you'd have at your disposal. So if you try to replicate the same methodology at your real examination, you can easily gain full marks for each and every subtask. So as you can see, rather than going through pages and pages of suggested answers and trying to decrypt the logic behind each answer, trying to decrypt how to structure each answer, trying to understand application, you can easily gain a good understanding of all these elements by going through our answer plans. And when conducting your revision, you are supposed to try and replicate the same type of answer structures or answer plans, which is the best way to significantly improve your chances of passing the OCS exam. And once you are done with, once you have developed the answer plans, utilizing your remaining time, you are supposed to expand your answer plans in paragraph form, thereby coming up with your final answer. So the final answer should be in paragraph form, as you can see within this document. So you'd gain a good understanding of all these things, what these things are at the third webinar, answering technique. And you are also expected to refer to personalized tutor feedback for the last 3 mock exams. For mocks 4, 5, and 6, we are providing tutor feedback. So let me quickly show you the type of feedback which we offer at TCS. So as you can see, we have evaluated each paragraph, and if there are any major shortcomings, we have highlighted these shortcomings, and at the same time, we have also suggested what you need to do to overcome these shortcomings. So this is the best type of feedback you can receive. So once you have received tutor feedback, once you have understood your shortcomings, then you are supposed to take steps to overcome these shortcomings. And when it comes to overcoming the shortcomings, you know what to do, because as part of these annotations or tutor feedback, we have explained in depth what you need to do to overcome each of your shortcomings. So throughout this answer script, you can see the type of feedback which we have, which we offer at TCS. And at the very end, we provide mark allocations on a subtask by subtask basis. And we have also indicated a success rate. So you can see that 3 parts are highlighted in yellow. So considering this student's performance, the performance was good, focused on these yellow highlighted elements, but focusing on the other elements, the performance was substandard. So after receiving tutor feedback, you are supposed to conduct your revision. When conducting your revision, you are supposed to simply pre-develop answer plans focused on the subtasks which are not highlighted in yellow. So once you focus on overcoming your shortcomings when you're conducting your revision, rather than trying to reattempt the entire mock exam by wasting 3 hours of your time, you are simply supposed to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. That's the best way to make sure that you improve your skill set, improve your answering technique. If so, you will pass the OCS exam for sure. And we provide general comments at the very end as well. So these are the things which you need to get right in the upcoming 8 weeks. You might think that this is an extensive list and there's too much. You might be thinking whether you'd have enough time to complete all these requirements within the upcoming 8 weeks. If you stick to our study plan, you can easily achieve it. So once we move on to the study plan, and once I've explained what you need to do on a weekly basis, then you'd gain a good understanding of how much time you need to allocate for studies on a weekly basis and what you are supposed to do in each and every week. All right, so before we move on to the study plan, let me quickly mention what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the OCS page. If you are yet to create a free account, click on this button and check out our free content. You can create a free account. Once you have created a free account, you'd gain access to our dashboard. And once you are in the student dashboard, go to My Courses. In front of OCS Free, you'd see an Access Content button. Click on it. And once you have accessed it, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the webinars and workshops, which we conduct on a weekly basis via the videos tab. Then under the study material tab, you'd gain your access to a pre-seen mind map. This is, you need to get a printout of this pre-seen mind map, which makes your life easy when it comes to, remembering what appears within your pre-seen document. And you'd also gain access to the answer plan of the free mock exam. Don't go through the answer plan as until you are done with until we are done with the third webinar, because after learning answering and time management techniques, you are supposed to attempt the free mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform. Once you have attempted the mock exam, you are supposed to go through this answer plan. So don't go through this answer plan yet. And you'd under the mocks tab, you'd gain access to the free mock exam, the question, as well as the answers, the suggested answers. And via the exams tab, once you click on this button, you will have the opportunity to attempt mock number 1 or the free mock exam under exam conditions. So this is an exam standard mock exam. After you had attended the third webinar, answering and time management techniques, after you have learned these techniques, you are supposed to practice these techniques when attempting the free mock exam. So don't attempt the free mock exam right now. Wait until we are done with the third webinar. And after you have learned your answering and time management techniques, put your knowledge into test your answering and time management techniques by attempting the full mock exam. This is a full 3-hour mock exam, which consists of 4 tasks. So you can attempt this mock exam under exam conditions, because we have developed an exam platform which is akin to the Pearson VUE system on which you attempt your real examination. So you have the chance of attempting this free mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform. So create a free user account to gain access to all these type of free resources. And if you are interested in investing on our paid content, click on this button and check the sample material before you do so. All right, then if you are yet to join the OCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Via this forum, you can engage yourself with group learning. If you have any question or concern, I'm always there to help you guys out. And on top of that, I will also keep you guys informed about the weekly webinars and workshops, the commencement times, the access links and whatnot. All these things will be shared via this WhatsApp group. And on top of that, I will also be sharing a plethora of free resources via the WhatsApp group. So if you're yet to join it, please click on this button and join the WhatsApp group. All right, so talking about what we offer 2 main packages. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 sets of students who end up attempting the OCS exam. So if you're coming through the general route, if you have already completed your E1, F1 and P1 OTQs, go for the value pack. So the value pack is designed for students who have completed their OTQ examinations. So since you have already mastered your theory, you simply need to focus your attention towards improving your application skills. So if you opt for the value pack, you would gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops which we conduct on a weekly basis. You will gain access to 6 mock exams with suggested answers. So on top of mock number 1, you will gain access to 5 additional mock exams. And if you attempt these mock exams, we guarantee that you are covering the entire syllabus. And at your real examination, you need not worry about any syllabus element which you are not prepared for, because when developing these 6 mock exams, we have made sure to cover all syllabus elements. You'd also gain access to pre-scene analysis videos, 4 pre-scene analysis videos in total. The annotated pre-scene, I showed you what an annotated pre-scene looks like a while back. And in the next week's webinar, when I'm conducting the pre-scene analysis, I will be focusing your attention towards the annotated pre-scene, which we have developed for back office. Then you'd also gain access to industry and financial analysis cards. Again, I showed you what these slides look like. You'd also gain access to top 10 likely issue slides, a case study familiarization kit. So once you go through this familiarization kit, within 10 to 15 minutes, you can gain an in-depth understanding about the technicalities behind your OCS exam. You'd gain access to a tutor-managed live chat, as well as OTQ revision cards. So if you opt for the value pack, after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that, let's assume there was a question about sales variances and you don't feel confident about what you have done or how you have approached the question. So after attempting the weekly mock exam, if you feel that you need to brush up your knowledge about a certain theoretical element, simply refer to these OTQ revision cards. You need not refer to your old notes, your study texts and whatnot. I don't want you to waste your time unnecessarily. Instead, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards. Once you do so, in a jiffy, you are in a position to improve your knowledge about different types of theoretical elements. So the value pack is priced at £199. And talking about the premium pack is designed for those who are coming through the exemption routes, as well as those who had failed the OCS exam previously. So both these type of students have the same problem. If you're coming through an exemption route and if you had failed the OCS exam previously, both these set of students have gaps in theoretical knowledge and issues with application. So as I mentioned earlier, the OCS exam is a highly theoretical examination. 85% of your questions will be based on theoretical concepts. So if you don't have a good understanding of each syllabus element, then you cannot pass this exam. So if you're coming through an exemption route, or if you had failed previously, you have to go for the premium package. So the premium pack comes with everything which appears within the value pack. Additionally, you would also gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all 6 mock exams under exam conditions. So as I mentioned earlier, we have developed a mock exam platform which is akin to the Pearson VUE system. So it's best that you, when conducting your preparations, it's best that you attempt each mock exam under real exam conditions, which gives you the opportunity to master your answering and time management techniques. And at the same time, this will give you the opportunity to be exposed to exam stress. It's best that you are exposed to exam stress when conducting your preparations rather than at your real examination. It's in order to be conversant with your answering, time management, as well as stress management techniques, it's of utmost importance that you attempt all 6 mock exams via our exam platform. And you'd also receive one-on-one tutor feedback for the last 3 mock exams. I showed to you the type of feedback which we provide at TCS. So the objective of you having to seek feedback is to make sure that you understand your shortcomings, because there are students, I've dealt with students who think that they can simply go through a mock exam and read through the suggested answer and replicate the same type of answers at their real examination. You cannot do so. Instead, you have to attempt each mock exam on your own and seek tutor feedback, because then we are in a position to teach you what your shortcomings are, because without understanding your shortcomings, you cannot take steps to overcome your shortcomings. So the first step should be to understand your shortcomings, because if you understand your shortcomings, then you can work towards improving the quality of your answers. You'd also gain access to answer plans of all 6 mock exams. No other study provider is sharing answer plans with you. So if you have invested on other study providers, you would have seen that with each mock exam, you'd get your hands on the suggested answers. We have gone a step further, and we are also sharing the answer plans with you as well. So these answer plans will make your life easy when it comes to understanding the logic of each answer, understanding the structure of each answer, understanding how theoretical elements should be brought in when developing your answers, and to significantly improve your application skills. And when conducting your revision, it makes your life easy as well. Rather than going through pages and pages of suggested answers, you can easily see whether your answer plans are aligned with the answer plans which are provided by TCS. You'd also gain access to 20 master classes. And as I mentioned earlier, in each master class, we try to achieve 3 objectives. Objective number 1 is to take you through the logic of each answer. Objective number 2 is to teach you the relevant theoretical concept covered within each mock exam. And objective 3 is to teach you application skills. And once you have access to all these type of resources, you will pass for sure, hence the pass guarantee. So if you invest on the premium package and end up failing, you will gain access to the premium package in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete these 3 requirements. You have to complete all 6 mock exams. If not, you will be testing your luck at your examination. You have to be conversant with how each syllabus element is tested at your exam. So with that in mind, you have to complete all 6 mocks. If not, we cannot guarantee your pass. And when attempting each mock exam, you are not supposed to go through the suggested answers, the answer plans, or the master classes. Instead, you have to do it on your own, because as I mentioned earlier, the objective of attempting each mock exam is to master your answering and time management techniques, and at the same time, to understand what your shortcomings are. So if you try to go through the answers, you'd be cheating yourself. There's absolutely no point of going through the answers and then attempting mock exams. Instead, you need to attempt the mock exam on your own to understand your shortcomings, to understand how stressful the exam is going to be, and if you stick to this methodology and attempt all 6 mock exams without referring to any of the answers, then you will pass the OCS exam for sure. And you are supposed to meet the performance criteria for the last 3 mock exams. You need to gain 40% or higher. Why have we come up with this criteria? With the intention of ensuring that you do a serious job when attempting the last 3 mock exams, especially given the fact that you are receiving tutor feedback for them. And by the time you are in the last 3 mock exams, you will have a good understanding of your answering and time management techniques. You will never run out of time by the time you are in the last 3 mock exams. You will have a good understanding of how to structure your answers. If that is the case, you can easily gain more than 40% for the last 3 mock exams. So once you have completed all these things, you will pass for sure. That's why we are providing a pass guarantee for the premium package. So the premium package is priced at £599, which can be paid in 2 installments of £249 each across 2 months, or you can pay in full and save £100. If so, the price is just £499. You can click on either of these buttons and invest on your preferred package and payment method. And all products are available until the 28th of February 2025, unless and otherwise you claim the pass guarantee. All right, so having said that, let's move on to the second part of today's webinar. So before I take you through the 8-week study plan, let me quickly remind you about the important dates. So mark your calendars. Exam entry closes on the 21st of January 2025, 25 rather. I've done a blunder here. Extremely sorry about that. So if you are focused on attempting your OCS exam in Feb 2025, you have to book your exam before the 21st of January 2024. So what I usually recommend students to do is, if you wait until the 3rd week of January, or if you wait until the 21st of January, there's a tendency for you to forget about sessions happening in Feb. You will try to push your exam towards May. So in order to avoid such a situation, book your exam right now, because if you had booked your exam, you will definitely commit to the 8-week study plan without waiting until the last moment to start your preparations. So if you're extremely serious about sitting in Feb, book your exam right now. You'd have so many slots available, because if you wait until the last moment, the slots will run out. If so, you'd have to attempt your exam at odd hours, early morning and whatnot. So it's better to avoid such situations. So commit yourself right now, book your exam within this week if possible. And the exam dates are from the 5th of February to the 7th of February 2025. All right, so let's look at the 8-week study plan. So you can access the study plan via our website itself. So this is the same OCS page which I took you through a while back. So the OCS study plan can be accessed via this web page itself. So this is the 8-week study plan which we have developed for OCS. So the first week is dedicated towards getting your technicalities and nitty-gritties in place. So you are supposed to, in the upcoming week, you are supposed to refer to the OTQ theory recaps, brush up your theoretical knowledge, then refer to the OCS familiarization kit. So things are quite easy within this week. So the weekly study hours which you need to allocate is just 8 hours. Then moving on to week number 2, you are supposed to focus your attention towards the pre-scene document. So attend the second webinar, pre-scene analysis, then you'd know how to utilize your pre-scene and how to approach pre-scene information. After you have attended this pre-scene analysis webinar, then watch the pre-scene analysis videos, 4 videos in total, to gain an understanding of what appears within the entire pre-scene. Then refer to the annotated pre-scene on your own, thereby revising your knowledge once more. And then refer to the industry and financial analysis slides on your own. So as I mentioned earlier, the second week is dedicated towards decrypting your pre-scene document. So the weekly study hours needed is just 8 hours. Then moving on to the third week, as per our study plan, the third week is going to be the most hectic one, because you are supposed to allocate 12 hours of study time. I will explain as to why you need to allocate 12 hours of study time within the third week. So you are supposed to attend the third webinar, answering technique. That is when you will learn your answering and time management techniques. After you have learned your answering and time management techniques, you are supposed to put your knowledge into test or test your knowledge by attempting mock number 1, which is the free mock exam via the exam platform. Once you have attempted this mock exam, which will take 3 hours of your time, you are supposed to attempt mock number 2 as well within the same week via the same exam platform. And once you have watched once you have attempted the second mock via the exam platform, you are supposed to watch the 4 master classes focused on mock number 2. And once you have watched the master classes, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. So the logic of this process is to attempt the mock exam on your own. Then you will understand what your shortcomings are. After you have attempted the mock exam, watch the master classes. That is when you learn theoretical concepts clearly. That is when you'd learn your application skills. That is when you'd learn how to structure your answers. So you will, after you had watched the master classes, you will gain a good understanding of the type of answers you should have prepared and what you prepared. You will clearly understand what your shortcomings are. And after understanding the shortcomings, after learning theory and application, and after understanding your shortcomings, you are supposed to conduct revision focused on the same mock exam which you have attempted, thereby redeveloping answer plans. So when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, you are testing your knowledge which you have gained via the master classes. After you have redeveloped answer plans, compare your fresh answer plans to the answer plans provided by TCS to further improve the quality of your answers. So that's what you need to achieve in week number 3. You are supposed to allocate 12 hours of study time, because in week 3, you are supposed to attempt 2 mock exams. Mock number 1, which is the free mock exam, and mock number 2. Then from week 4 onwards, you simply need to allocate just 9 hours of study time per week. So week 4 starts with the 4th webinar, exam prep, in which I'm going to teach you stress management techniques, which you can implement when attempting the remaining mock exams. Then within week number 4, you are supposed to attempt mock number 3 via the exam platform. Then watch the 4 master classes to learn theory, improve application, and understand your shortcomings. Then conduct your revision by redeveloping answer plans focused on mock number 3. Once you have redeveloped answer plans, compare your answer plans to TCS's answer plans to further improve your understanding. And in week number 5, you are supposed to focus your attention towards mock number 4. So you are supposed to attempt mock number 4 via the exam platform, then watch the master classes. From mock 4 onwards, you are getting tutor feedback. So after watching the 4 master classes, redevelop answer plans on your own, and within 72 hours, you will receive tutor feedback. And once you have received tutor feedback, you will understand what your shortcomings are. The subtasks, you will understand the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. So focused on these subtasks, you are supposed to again redevelop answer plans on your own. So you are supposed to stick to a similar methodology in week number 6 as well, thereby directing your attention towards mock number 5. And in week number 7, you are supposed to complete and conduct your revision focused on mock number 6 as well. And a week before your exam, which is the 8th week, you are supposed to start relaxing, because I don't want you to work until the last moment. Because although we share this type of study plan with students, most students end up until the last 2 or 3 weeks to start preparations. If you do so, you won't have time to relax, because you'd be scrambling for time. You'd try to attempt all 6 mock exams within just 3 weeks, which is not an easy task. You will have time to attempt all 6 mock exams, yet you won't have enough time to conduct your revision. Just because you attempt the 6 mocks, you won't pass this exam. You need to, revise your answering technique. You need to redevelop answer plans. You need to watch the master classes. So you need a lot of time to do all these things. So if you wait until the last moment, you won't have any time to relax, because 99% of the students out there, on the day of the exam, they tend to go through mock exams, suggested answers, the pre-seen document and whatnot. I don't want you to do the same mistake, because if you stick to our study plan, you'll be conversant with the pre-seen. You will be conversant with how each syllabus element is tested at your exam, because you have completed 6 mock exams and you have conducted your revision focused on the same 6 mock exams. So a week before your exam, you are supposed to start relaxing. So simply attend the final workshop where I'll be sharing last minute tips with you. Then refer to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. So when you're going through these answer plans of these 6 mock exams, it's as if you are going through the entire syllabus a week before your exam. That's the best type of revision you should conduct, rather than going through your study text, your past notes and whatnot. You should focus your attention towards the mock exams and how to structure your answers. So the best way to cover all syllabus elements and to improve your answering technique is to refer to the answer plans of mocks 1 to 6 and reread the annotated pre-seen one final time. And you are supposed to stop preparations a day prior to the exam. Sleep, eat, and rest well. So if your exam is on a Wednesday, you have to stop all your work by Monday. Why am I asking you to do this? Because as I mentioned at the inception of this webinar, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. So in a real-life corporate environment, if you are to be successful, if you are to do your best job, then it's best that you are relaxed. So let's assume you are supposed to walk into office on a Monday. On Sunday, if you are up till late attempting mock exams or conducting your preparations, or if you are partying on Sunday, can you function properly on Monday? You can't. So since a real life corporate environment is replicated at your exam, it's best that you think in the same terms. So a week before your exam, you have to start relaxing, because if you do so, you will gain a high level of confidence when all the other students are scrambling for time, when they are attempting mock exams, trying to go through suggested answers, trying to go through the pre-seen document. You are not doing all these things. You have already completed all these requirements. A week before the exam, you are simply going through the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. So start relaxing. If you are relaxed both mentally and physically before the exam, you will come up with extremely good marks at your real examination. So if you stick to the study plan, you can achieve, although your pass mark is 80, you can achieve more than 100 marks at your real examination if you stick to the study plan. And according to the study plan, you simply need to allocate 9 hours of study time. So I'll tell you what you are supposed to do on a weekly basis. So don't conduct any preparations on Monday, because Mondays are usually hectic at office. So let's assume you attempt a mock exam on Tuesday. So attempt the mock exam on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, watch the master classes. That's where you'd learn theory. That's where you'd learn application and learn how to structure your answers. And on Thursday, redevelop answer plans. By Friday, you will receive tutor feedback. Go through the tutor feedback. And on Friday itself, again, redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks where your performance was subpar. So if you stick to this process, towards the weekend, your only job is to attend the weekly webinar or workshop, which is just going to take 1 hour or 1.5 hours of your time. Other than that, I want you to relax towards the weekend, because I know for a fact that you are expected to spend time with your family members. So spend time with your loved ones, and you are supposed to do your household chores towards the weekend. So focus on all these elements. Don't be unnecessarily pressurized. So if you stick to our study plan, you can relax towards the weekend. And even if you work during the weekdays, your real job is to attempt the mock exam, which takes 3 hours of your time on a weekly basis, and then redevelop answer plans, which will only take 1.5 hours of your time. Other than that, everything else is handled by us. The master classes are handled by us. Tutor feedback is handled by us. So a chunk of your job is completed by us. Your real responsibility is to find time, 3 hours at a stretch, to attempt the weekly mock exam and find 1.5 hours to redevelop answer plans. So on Tuesday, attempt the mock. On Wednesday, watch the master classes. On Thursday, redevelop answer plans. Then by Friday, you will receive tutor feedback. On the same day, redevelop answer plans once more. If you stick to this process and a week before your exam, you are supposed to refer to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. So if you stick to this process, it's as if you are attempting each mock exam 6 times before you walk into the exam. So you are attempting 6 mock exams, and each mock exam, you are going through each mock exam 6 times, which is enough and more practice for you to get everything right at your real exam. So simply stick to our study plan. Start right now itself. Don't wait until the last moment. Book your exam within this week and start your preparations. Stick to our study plan. Check your performance on a weekly basis. Get in touch with us via the weekly webinar or workshop. And if you do so, you will be extremely successful at your real examination. Even if you're coming through an exemption route, you need not worry, because most of our students are coming through exemption routes and they end up getting more than 100 marks when the pass mark is just 80. All right, so that's the guarantee which we provide. So that's exactly why we achieved a 96% pass rate for the August sitting. And as you can see, this student ended up getting 105 marks. And this was this student's first attempt coming through an exemption route. Right after the exam, this individual called me and said that he mixed up the questions and he was not too sure about passing. But when the results were out, this individual got 105 marks when the pass mark was just 80 marks. How did this individual achieve this? Simply by referring to or sticking to our 8-week study plan. So if you focus on each mock exam on a weekly basis and conduct your revision focused on the same mock exam, you need not do anything else. You need not refer to your study texts. You need not do anything to or something additional to learn your theories, because after watching your master classes, you'd learn theory and significantly improve your application skills. All right, so having said that, it brings us to the Q&A. I'm going to pause the recording. If you have any questions, you can raise them now. All right, folks, so thank you very much for those questions. So if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Simply visit our website and click on the contact button and drop your message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during weekdays. And you can email us at info@study@tcs.com or WhatsApp us on this number. And if you, I invite you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially TikTok and YouTube. Via our YouTube handle, you can gain access to the recorded versions of the webinars and workshops which we conduct on a weekly basis. And on top of that, via TikTok, you'd gain access to a good a set of videos, which is a mind map of the entire pre-scene. So on your way to office, on a daily basis, keep watching these TikTok videos over and over. And if you do so, by the time you are, walking into your exam, you will remember all the important information which appears within your pre-scene document. So make use of these free resources which we offer at TCS. And if you are yet to read the blog post concerning your chosen company, simply visit our website, click on the blog button, and there's a good blog post about back office, thereby highlighting the nitty-gritties, the technicalities, the most important points which are highlighted within your pre-scene document. So I hope you'd read this blog post as well. So concluding thoughts, approach OCS as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass. If you approach this exam in a practical mindset, you will pass for sure. So thank you very much for joining in. I hope you gained something out of this session, and I invite you guys to attend next week's webinar as well, where I'll be conducting an industry analysis as well as a pre-scene analysis. And on a weekly basis, get in touch with us without fail. Even if you do not invest on our study material, that's totally fine. Make sure to get in touch with us on a weekly basis so that you gain a good understanding of what this examination is about, what's expected from you, and what you need to do to pass this examination. So thank you very much for joining. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks and take care.